The outstanding feature of Luxembourg is the great rift which goes right through the middle of the city, cut in the sandstone plateau by the Pitreuse River. The Pitreuse joins the Alzette River, surrounding a rocky outcrop on three sides. It was this geological feature which attracted Siegfried, the son of a count and descendant of a French king, who purchased the land from an abbey in 963 AD and built a small fortress here. The land became a small province within the Holy Roman Empire, and the count's descendants were recognised as dukes who rightfully ruled the province. In 1603, the Jesuits opened a college in Luxembourg and began building a large church there. It was expanded at various times and elevated to become a cathedral in 1870. One of the towers was part of the original Jesuit church. Two other towers were added in 1935. Many of the Dukes of Luxembourg are buried in the crypt of the church. Behind the church and the palace are a maze of tiny lanes and public squares, quaint shops, small hotels and coffee shops. The old city of Luxembourg. Much of it goes back to the 17th and 18th centuries, and some parts as early as the 10th century. It's now a UNESCO World Heritage Area. However, wherever you go in Luxembourg, there's free Wi-Fi, a modern contribution. While it is a small province about the size of the Australian Capital Territory, it's surrounded by larger nations, France, Germany and Belgium, which was for a long time part of the Netherlands. Each of these nations took control of Luxembourg at various times. The armies of Louis XIV of France captured the city in 1684 and developed the fortifications in the side of the valley. After Napoleon was defeated in 1814, Luxembourg became an independent nation. It was ruled by a duke, but who was also the King of the Netherlands. In 1841, King William II, the Grand Duke of Luxembourg at that time, gave Luxembourg a constitution which led to the formation of a parliament to rule alongside the Duke, an arrangement which still exists and is celebrated in this garden. After World War I, Charlotte became the Grand Duchess, but decided to check whether the people still wanted a sovereign. She put it to a vote, and the people voted to retain the system. Charlotte remained as the Grand Duchess until 1964, when her son took over. Her statue stands in front of the Duke's Palace, which was originally built in 1573. In 1914, Germany invaded the tiny and neutral country. After the war, a great column was erected, topped by a golden maiden bearing a wreath. The Germans tore down the monument when they invaded again in 1940, but after the war the column was restored and redeveloped, now commemorating all who died in both wars. Perhaps as a result of the stream of invasions over centuries, Luxembourg was a founding member in 1957 of the European Economic Community, which became the EU. A whole new area of Luxembourg has been developed called the Kirkberg Plateau to house the EU offices. These two buildings at the entrance of that area are part of the Secretariat of the European Parliament, which resides here. Also in this area is the EU Court of Justice and the European Investment Bank, which was obviously designed to be a transparent institution. While its earlier economy was based on the production of steel, the new economy of Luxembourg is based around banking. Many large banks and other financial institutions have their homes here. There is also a large modern shopping mall in the centre of this new area. While many of the buildings are glass and steel, there are some pleasant walkways hidden by bushes from the roads and buildings. On the southern border of Luxembourg is the small town of Schengen, on the banks of the river Moselle. Across the river in one direction is Germany and in another is France. It was here in 1985 and in 1990, in the middle of the river, the leaders of a number of European nations met to sign an agreement which allowed visa-free movement for 400 million Europeans across 26 countries. It was a huge step towards peace and unity across Europe after centuries of devastating wars. Luxembourg is a tiny place with a population just 50% larger than Canberra. It's highly cosmopolitan, with nearly half its inhabitants born outside the country, the largest recent group from Portugal. It has 3 official languages, French, German and Luxembourgian, and all its children learn all 3, and most also learn English. It has one of the highest rates of income in the world, and one of the highest qualities of life. Luxembourg proves that tiny countries can survive and can play a valuable role internationally. Luxembourg has been and continues to be a bridge builder in Europe.